Hey, I'm Becs, this is Tymon, and this is Mowgli, a tiny home we've built on the back of a four-wheel drive truck. Join us for the build and the adventures he takes us on.
They're sick.
Oh my god, what could go wrong?
We just got these one wheels. They're so much fun. They're our mode of transport when we just need to flick around close by, and they're pretty good.
They're so fun.
Yeah.
So we just pulled up here in Mowgli, and we get lots of looks because he's a big truck, and then we just hoon around on these one wheels, and we get lots of weird looks because they're kind of interesting and weird. I feel like we don't do things that are normal.
No, then we whip out the camera and we talk to the camera, and people are walking by. No matter what we do, people are looking at us and doing that. Yeah, anyway.
We're not normal.
Not normal.
We don't do things like everybody else.
No.
I think that's Tymon's like mission in life.
Yeah, that's my motto. Yeah. I'm gonna get out of the camera and let's do a vlog. What's this for? Are we drinking tea?
We're drinking tea.
This is just water.
No.
Drinking tea.
We're having good old gumboot tea. So, I have made Anzac biscuits. Ooh. Those are Anzac biscuits, and I've made them because Mowgli, our truck, is a little Anzac. Well, he's a big Anzac. We got him from the Australian Defence Force. So the Anzac biscuits kind of tie in. It's going to be my new thing, baking and vlogging.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only reason that I make videos. It's not for you guys. It's because every time Becs makes a video, she makes cookies or something. And so I want cookies, and so I need a video to make cookies.
Hang on, I hadn't finished talking about the Anzac thing.
Okay, sorry.
So Tymon is from Australia, and I'm from New Zealand.
Correct.
And Mowgli is from the Australian Defence Force, so we're all little Anzacs. My great uncle was an Anzac. He fought at Gallipoli, and in the words of Sergeant Harvey Johns, my great uncle, the Australians were pretty good. That's what he said about the Anzacs. They were pretty good. You could depend on them.
Yeah, mate, they were pretty good, eh?
I'm trying to say it. No, he's a Kiwi, so it's a.
Oh yeah, oh they were pretty good.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good. You could depend on them.
Oh yeah, they were good.
So today,
What are we talking about?
Buying a truck from the Australian Defence Force.
Tips. Well, not tips. Like
This is what we did. We're not experts.
This is what we
obviously.
did. Yes, exactly.
So we got them on auction, and we couldn't drive the truck before we bought it. So we had to do our very best to get a good one. And these are our tips.
Yeah, so basically I am not a mechanic. I should be able to do anything. I pretty much can learn anything I put my mind to, but I'm not, when it comes to servicing and mechanics, I will do the oils and change a tire and the fan, like the belts in the engine. That's pretty much the extent of what I actually want to do. I probably could do more, but I probably won't do. So we were trying to get the best possible truck that we could to minimize the amount of mechanics that we had to do, And to do that, we just got underneath and had a real good look at every single truck there was, and anything with a major oil leak or an oil leak coming from an expensive area, then we just ruled it all out. So there was like 12, 15 or something. I think there was about 15 in the auction that we were going for. We had them all listed out, and we were like, number 1, no, massive oil leak. Number 2, no. And then...
So apparently Unimogs, and correct me if I'm wrong, have a little bit of a reputation for oil leaks. So we wanted to get one that was good.
Yeah, and then we also, another thing we looked for, so yeah, oil leaks, and ours didn't, I think it had maybe one oil leak, and it was coming from the bottom of a filter, or maybe something, it was something small. Another thing we looked for was rust and just general abuse. If it had been, if it was really rusty or it looked like it'd been really trashed, cross it off the list. We weren't going to bid on that one. Another thing was the amount of kilometers and whether that lined up with the logbook. So having a logbook was one. We went through, anything that didn't have a logbook was crossed off. Anything that did have a logbook, we went through the logbooks and made sure that it hadn't been thrashed or anything like that. And what else did we do to... That was pretty much it. You can't start them. So we got one with a logbook. It had low Ks. We could see it hadn't really been driven around that much for the last 4 years, which is possibly a negative selling point. I don't know. I took it as a positive at the time, but whether that was right or not. But yeah, it only had 125 on the clock, and that was logged too. So that was pretty accurate. 125,000. Not even 120, sorry, 114,000.
This is another little interesting tip. Apparently, if the Unimogs or army vehicles have been overseas and seen action, they have a little symbol on them. Yeah,
so we heard this is unsubstantiated, but a little insignia that they have on the side of the truck for when they go overseas. And in my opinion, if it goes overseas, it's getting used too much. And so there is, you might want to look that up if that's something that you'd be thinking about. A little insignia on the side of the truck that states it's been overseas.
And in continuation of the Anzac theme, see these Anzac colours, the army colours? This might be the last time you see the army colours on Mowgli.
Mowgli may or may not be going in for a facelift. Yeah, a full like, what was that? What's that show that you watch? Queer Eye for a Straight. Queer Eye for a
Queer Eye.
Queer Eye's coming to get Mogs. Do him up.
I love it. So on the paintwork at the moment, we haven't worried too much about it. There's a little bit of rust on the paintwork, so that's all going to go. So he's going to look schmick-o.
Yeah, what else are we talking about? That was, so I just tell you a quick little story, otherwise this vlog's going to get blown out again.
My ones are short and sharp and quick.
Yeah, mine are not so long. So when I bid for Mogs, I finally saved up enough money to be able to purchase him, and then I had my headphones on and I was at the free Wi-Fi at McDonald's in Ulladulla, and I was bidding on it, and I don't know if it's still the same, it probably is, but when you're bidding on it, you can see I ended up in a bidding war over this one with this other guy, and we were just going up and up and up, and you can see not the full name, but you can see who's bidding on what trucks, and there was 2 that we were bidding for, and one was in really good nick. It looked like it'd been fully repaired, so I think it had a full overhaul, maybe it
had a brand new engine in it.
Brand new engine, yeah. Full overhaul. So we were trying to get that one, and we were also trying to get this one. And I could see the guy that we were in a bidding war with, he was in a bidding war with the other one. So he was trying to get, trying to get 3. And so he was essentially jacking up the price of all 3 of these. And I from doing a little bit of research whilst the auction was going on, I realized this. And so I could see the other one he was bidding on, which was a lower one, and I just jacked this up like $3,000, and that sort of diverted his attention away to another one, and it worked. Anyway, end of the story was we bought him, and then everything kicked off really quickly, didn't it? But what else are we talking about?
So we're going to talk about the upgrades that we've done to the truck. So you've all seen the inside and we've gone over that in a heap of detail. So we're going to talk about the trucky things that we've added on to make him even more trucky and awesome.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep, so the things that we've had go wrong, first of all. Yeah.
Carry on.
Yep. Had a hub seal go and piss out heaps of oil. There was...
We got that fixed by a professional.
Yep, anything that's not just the oils or anything like that, we just take it into either Dan from Unidan or Ben from Mog Central. They're both awesome.
So awesome.
Yep.
If you buy a Unimog in Australia, just give them a call.
Hey, Future Tymon here. I just thought of another thing. I thought I'd throw this in after the fact. Basically, the majority of the issues that we're having that we've had, and there haven't been many, with our truck are due to seals, gaskets, rubbery parts. Mowgli is a 35-year-old truck and that hasn't been used relatively all that much. So basically it's all these parts that may or may not be 35 years old and that are degrading. Yeah, so if you wanted to be super onto it, you could know or find out the parts like gaskets maybe around the gearbox or something like that. That's going to be super expensive to fix, and if it's got a logbook and you can see that's already done, that might be something else you can just get the little edge on everybody else with. All right, back to the video. Yeah, and then there was this bushing in the fan belt that went, and so he was overheating. Little our tacho, I think it's called tacho, thing that tells his speed. That stopped, so we got a new one of those put in. I didn't do that as well. I bought it and then got someone to put that in. Apparently it was a pretty easy job.
This is another army thing. When you buy a truck from the army, the locks on the doors, I guess they don't need to lock the doors because they're in an army base, so the key doesn't come out of the ignition, and so we had to change the bolt, and Tymon just did that himself.
Yep, Dan from Unidan, you just order a lock, and that was really easy. Pull that out in, then you can take your key out. And also lock your doors. That's always good.
And you need that to get your certificate of compliance.
In Queensland.
Yeah.
What else is there?
The engine guard.
Engine guard, we've got some sort of earthing issue that we just can't figure out, and it's not a real massive pain in the ass, just that we just don't know exactly what temperature the engine is. So we put in engine guard, which is just sensor directly onto the engine, and that's on the dash now, and so we can see when it's going, and yeah, that works awesome. Shocks. We put in some new shocks. The shocks are awesome. It's a lot smoother with the shocks. It also raised everything up about 3 inches. That's a lot. 3 inches.
Yeah, so we weren't anticipating that, and so Mogs is a tall beast, but he's grown into it.
He had to. Wheels, obviously, the wheels got upgraded. If you haven't seen our wheel fall off, go back and see
so we've got new
this video.
New hubs.
But it is one of our first, so it's pretty amateur. But yeah, our wheel fell off.
Yeah, so new hubs, new tyres, and the winch. So I will eventually show you some footage of the winch in action.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings are cool. Hey, who you talking to? Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you because I had
How's it?
So winch, shocks, trailer attachment.
Oh yeah, we got a trailer attachment too. The idea was to have my motorbike. I wanted my motorbike to fit on the back of Moog, so we could have literally everything we owned with us. That didn't work, and then I was going to have a motorcycle attachment underneath the back because we've run out of space at the back to just have a postie bike for us to get around, and then we just never ended up doing it.
So we got one wheels instead.
So we got one wheels. More fun.
More fun than a motorbike.
More fun than a postie bike, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let's go inside,
So
just in case, because there's lots of cars. We thought this was going to be a good spot, and it was, but now it's like...
But school's out.
It's a little tacker hour.
And now we're going to talk about what if we were really wanting
Upgrades.
to pimp Mogs out to the max after living in him for 3 years. These are the things that we would possibly do.
The things that we would do if we were keeping Mogs for another couple of years, which we're probably not going to have him for that long. So things that we would do that you guys should consider. We're out of here.
So a luxury item that we would consider for the truck, just to make him a little bit more comfortable if we are going off the grid, is a diesel heater. So we've heard they're really, really efficient. They hardly use any diesel, and it would just mean that on the really cold nights we don't have to either drain our batteries or plug into mains power to use our electric heater. We did initially plan on having a little fireplace, but we just couldn't figure out a way of making the chimney work. So we canned that idea.
Yeah, the fireplace was going to go right here. We bought it. It was a really cool little
Cute little thing.
Yeah, awesome. But that's gone into a friend's little motorhome, which is just as good. Yeah, to have the chimney, we couldn't make Mogs higher, so to have the chimney at the top, we would have had to have a removable thing that we needed to take off and on, and it was just too hard, so that didn't end up getting done. Diesel heater, I would just get one off AliExpress, a cheap one. They use like a litre per 24 hours or something ridiculous, so if you're having it on for 8 hours overnight, that's hardly any diesel. That's definitely worth it. If you want to, a lot of our little luxury upgrades are to do with going more off grid and getting off the grid more. We never use our heater that we plug in. We never use that off her batteries. So that's only if we're ever plugged in. If it's cold and we are not plugged in, then we just suck it up, and it gets a little bit cold in here, but it's fine. It's
actually really cozy, and that leads us to our next point. So we've insulated the box of Mowgli really, really well. It's really cozy. What we haven't insulated is the cab, and we would insulate that for maybe one reason alone, and that is to soundproof it.
Yep, soundproofing. It was something that was on my list of things to do. A guy down the road at Ulladulla who had a Unimog, he said he carpeted the whole inside of his cab, and it was quite enough for him to put a CD player or something in and have music on fine. I drive with noise cancelling headphones on all the time when I'm in Mogs. Yes, because it's too loud, but also because I just like my music through my headphones, and I like having no sound. I even drive the Ute. If I go long distances in the Ute, I'm wearing my noise cancelling headphones as well. So it's yeah, something to consider. It's loud. It's not like painfully deafening loud, but it's definitely a luxury item, something that you would want to consider, yeah, to make it a little bit more comfortable.
And if you wanted to be ultra comfortable while driving in the cab, you'd possibly put in air conditioning. We haven't. Tymon is pretty awesome in the heat. He is dead against aircon.
I will never put aircon in anything.
Loves the warmth.
Yeah.
The other thing that we would have loved to have done, we touched on a little bit before, was to put a motorbike rack on the back. It was just going to be too much engineering, not enough time. Cost benefit analysis didn't make the cut, but I think if we were having him long term, it would be awesome to have a motorbike rack on the back.
It was mainly for us. It was mainly the space off the back of the truck. We ran out of space. You can only have a certain amount of overhang. It's like 60% of the space between the wheels, I think, and you can only have a certain amount, and we ran out, and so we couldn't put a motorbike on the back, and that's the only reason. Then I tried to put underneath, that didn't happen. So
the other thing that we might possibly do, again to make it more off-grid, is to get a long-range diesel tank, just so that you're not having to fill them up quite so often. We've got jerry cans, and that's kind of done us fine. Done us fine. Ooh, I don't know about that. So 160 litres in the tank. Not sure exactly how far that gets you, not very far. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. I did work it out when we first got the truck and when I first put the box on, but then it was so much I just forgot about it and deleted it from my memory. So we have 40 extra litres in drums that are on the side of the truck that I've had for emergencies, and we've never ever used it.
I'm not sure how long diesel lasts, but that's pretty old diesel. The lock that locks those clothes has rusted, so if I ever need it, I need to first cut off the lock to get to 40 litres of diesel. So,
but possibly if you want to take your truck into the like Northern Territories,
cross the Nullarbor,
then I would consider getting a longer.
For sure.
Yeah, long range fuel tank.
It's a luxury item. It's not a luxury item.
Yeah. Another cool thing that we thought about doing, and if we had more time, we would definitely do, is a way of capturing water on the roof. He's got a big surface area. It would be awesome just to get some of the rainwater.
It'd be very, very, very easy to do. Essentially, you just need a tiny little gutter, and then I'd have a little ball valve which goes one way. So when the water on the roof, initially when the dirt's on the roof, it rains for a couple of minutes, you switch the little, and all the dust and stuff on the roof goes down and out, and then you switch the little ball valve over. You can even get electronic one of those, so you can just do it from inside if you're super switched onto it, and then just switch that over, and then it feeds into your tanks, and then you've got rainwater. And that's another thing. If you wanted to go super off grid, that's probably one of the first things that we would do if we were having Mogs a lot longer. Hey.
Any other little luxury items that you would put on?
No, not that I would put on, but the list goes on.
It's pretty luxurious as it is. We're pretty spoiled.
Yeah. Those, I honestly, I personally wouldn't do anything, but you've got, sky's the limit. You got bucket seats, you got air con, you got bush bars and extra winches and extra, you got everything.
Yeah. It's a big boy's toy, like choose your own adventure with the Unimog. We're going to eat some Anzac biscuits now.
It's so nice and quiet now, isn't it?
I know, those little kids have gone, so apologies if there was a lot of background noise before.
They were having so much fun. They were playing like a structured game of rugby.
Yeah, with girls and guys, and they were just awesome.
Yeah. Good
little Anzacs. That's it.
Shut up, bird!
Be quiet, nature! Shut up, nature!
Is that it? Are we at the end? Can we go one wheel?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go one wheels. Catch ya.
Bye!
The info pronto, I go and get it and split it with my kinfolk daily, and I'm the type of that might change my number on you. Yeah, that's how you react when people took a slumber on you. Pretty brown skin, baby, I can see the summer on you. You see all the bread, and I know it make you wonder, don't you? Ooh, I ain't surprised at all. Seen them rise and fall. Went up the mountain, it wasn't hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but please don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. No, I need it, beat it, before you mess up the mood. Yeah, ooh, I worked too hard for it, and I need it, so please don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. Yeah. Don't mess up the mood.
Where are you going, paper boy? Riding your bike today. Not a care